All right, welcome back to the #1 Cochran Sports Showdown. I'm Rich Walsh, and I'm going to put these guys on the spot. With the 24th pick, Mark Kaboly, who you taking?
Oh, offensive lineman Tevin Jenkins. I think that's a no-brainer. However, what happens if he's not there? What if there's a run on those tackles of, Vera Tucker and guys like that, Darisaw? Then all of a sudden Najee Harris goes at 18 to Miami, and and Zaven Collins goes because he has a ton of ability. You're just sitting there at 24, like looking around and saying, I can't trade back because there's nowhere to trade to. That's where you look at, and you probably take a Landon Dickerson at that time and roll the dice. But I think Tevin Jenkins will be there, and I think that will be their pick.
Jeff?
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, Chris.
All right, Jeff's putting me on the spot. Fine. I'll go off the board just because I want everybody to have something that they can send to Old Takes Exposed, and they can rip me for it and say, man, you're such an idiot. Why'd you pick that? I think they're going to go with, because I think this guy is going to drop, and I think they're going to be too tempted by the talent to pass him up. I think they're going to go with Caleb Farley, the corner out of Virginia Tech. That is my shot in the dark. I'll be mad about it because the guy's had 2 back operations already, but he's a top 10 talent. Yeah, New York Jets-style booing from Steelers fans when they make a huge injury roll of the dice on Caleb Farley at 24.
Yeah, I really like Tevin Jenkins, too. I think he brings this attitude that would be really good for the Steelers' offensive line. But I'll say that Vera Tucker falls down, and I'll pick there. I still don't have them picking Najee Harris. I know a lot of mocks do. I think they need help with that offensive line. And if some other tackle were to fall, again, trying to be different from Tevin Jenkins, I would say they'd pick one of those guys.
You know, I was completely wrong last year. I was pushing for J.K. Dobbins. He was there. They didn't pick him. I'm going with Najee Harris. I'm saying they're going to draft Najee Harris. They need a running back. For me, that's the biggest priority. So they're taking a running back, and Najee Harris is the guy. Okay, what I do want to ask you guys, though, what if somehow, some way, we talked a little bit about this in the first segment, guy like Micah Parsons falls to the Steelers or Justin Fields falls to the Steelers. Do you think that they would go off the board and take one of these guys? Chris, I'll start with you because you brought up Justin Fields.
If the guy, if he's sitting there at 24, I'll drain blood out of my arm to sign the card with Justin Fields' name at 24. Are you kidding me? Yes, I think they would do that, absolutely. I don't know if they would do it for a guy like Parsons. We saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not that Parsons is going to fall, even with little character questions in his background that people are a little concerned about. He's not going to fall that far. If he hypothetically did, I know that Devin White and Levante David were big key pieces on the inside of that Buccaneers defense, running around, tackling everybody at inside linebacker. But I just don't see the Steelers trying to load up at that position when they have so many other needs. But if Fields is there, or somehow Trey Lance is there at 24, Kevin Colbert better be sprinting to that podium to get that pick in.
Yeah, if those guys are there
somewhere. Oh, Jeff, go ahead.
Sorry. If those guys are there, I'm not worried that there's going to be an Aaron Rodgers, fallout because you don't get somebody to help the offense this year. If one of those quarterbacks happen to drop, like Rodgers dropped when he was in the draft, you have to go and get him. You could set your franchise for 10 years at the most important position if those guys drop. Again, I still think offensive line is the play here, but if one of those quarterbacks happen to drop, I'm going there.
Kevin Colbert always says he drafts for wants, not needs. My thing is, what happens if somebody falls that they don't necessarily need? Say, or some wide receiver falls at that 24 spot, and all your guys are gone, all your offensive linemen, maybe Najee Harris is gone. Do you then pull a trigger on somebody you don't need? You can't move back. That's where it gets a little bit difficult. You probably do take the best available athlete. But I think if it's even close, not even maybe within 5 or 10 picks, I think when it gets to 24 or wherever they pick, they move back to 29 or 30 right now. I think they're going to have to address, and I know Colbert doesn't like it, they're going to have to address the need, even if it is a little bit less of a player.
Hey, Mark, is there a guy like maybe, say, Rashawn Slater from Northwestern, a guy like that, an offensive lineman like that, that potentially could fall to the Steelers?
No, you see, that's another guy that I would be more than willing to move up 7 spots to go and be able to get. Those are those guys. But I don't think he'll be there. I don't think Darisaw will be there. I don't think Slater will be there. Of course, the guy from Oregon, Penny Sewell, he won't be there as well. Those guys get to that 15 to 18 mark, then you better start making some calls.
Jeff, we haven't seen the Steelers make too many moves in the first round. They moved up to get Bush, obviously, a couple years ago. Would you be surprised if they moved up in the draft to get someone?
Depends on who's there. I mean, again, if a quarterback is there, or maybe Rashawn Slater falls down into the mid-teens and they love this guy, who, by the way, has skyrocketed up the mock drafts without playing this past season, or Darisaw is there, say, at 18. Maybe they think about moving up because they love that player and can't believe that he's still there. Yeah, I could see them do it. They don't do it often. Most of the time they get what they want, where they want it, or where they're at. But, yeah, I could see them doing that, especially if it's just a couple of spots.
Chris, is there a guy you think that could fall to the Steelers?
No,
or
I don't think
or
there
you
is.
think they could potentially trade up to get someone?
No, I don't think so, I don't think anybody that they would really want is going to fall to them. And I would advocate, if all those tackles are off the board now and there's a big run on them and a run on running backs, trade out of the first round, have some guts, get a pick in the early second, and then add another third rounder. Build. You need quantity and quality, not just quality.
Well, I think they need players now, skilled players now, like a running back. So I'm going with Najee Harris. That's who I'm taking in the first round with pick number 24. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about the Penguins. Are they for real? Can they go far in the postseason? Is there a chance they could win the Stanley Cup? We'll try to answer those questions coming up next.